Hello, and welcome to my video presentation on rail travel's importance to the travel and events industry, and the research project I have conducted to find out and get to the root of people's opinions on train travel, how it can be improved for the use of future service, and what influences people to make the decisions they do to hop on the train. Whether it's a concert, sporting event, or small gathering, how successful is rail travel really? So, train travel is a key mode of transportation in both the tourism and events industry, which is both fast and sustainable. Train travel only accounts for 0.4% of carbon emissions. This makes it a more desired travel option for eco friendly travellers considering going to events. Train travel is both important in England and Wales. Train travel boosts the economy by creating jobs, connecting destinations, and boosting tourism. It generates a staggering 26 billion towards economic, environmental, and social growth. Being able to connect destinations creates high domestic tourism, promotes unpopular destinations, and is extremely important for the welfare of local businesses. This is incredibly important for the growth of tourism and events. Without rail travel, we would not be able to connect people to events and miss a giant market. As well as promoting unpopular destinations, trains find more ways to make the service appealing, and that is making travel accessible. Some train companies, such as Trainline for example, make it their goal in offering help to be inclusive and provide transport for disabled passengers, such as helping deboard the train and providing mobility. This makes it a solid option to travel to larger events. Trains can be accessible to anyone. Wales has 223 stations and England has 2,576. With many public transport links, finding a train station couldn't be easier to travel to your event. Trains in Wales and England not only provide transport but work in partners with events. Train travel is considered a high speed, convenient option to get to destinations faster. Rail travel is an affordable and sustainable option known for cheap fares, with passenger use going up in 2022 by 990 million. Trains provide extra, more frequent services during large events. These later trains can help manage attendees going to and from these events. Taylor Swift's concert in June 2024 in Cardiff is a prime example. Due to engineering works, lines were closed across South Wales, however, were reopened and staff were hired to help manage the trains during the events. This shows that rail travel and events work in tandem together for large events to help make money and boost tourism. To find out more about train travel and its impacts, I've created 10 research questions using a variety of different question methods. The aim of this research is to collect data on the use of train travel and come to conclusions about what motivates train travel to events, how train travel can be improved in the future, and how successful it is overall. For these findings, I have sampled 18 different people for a 10-question research survey. These types of people consisted of my co-workers, friends, and family over the Christmas holidays. First, I asked, how often do you use rail travel? On this question, out of the 5 options, 6% answered daily, 28% weekly, 28% monthly, 33% rarely, and 6% never using the service. This may show that rail travel may be used more situationally to go travel long distances, such as getaways or events. To follow up on this, I asked, travelling to a major event or destination, how likely are you to take the train going up from 1 up to 5? The average rating was calculated to be 2.94. The most common rating was 3, being answered by 33% of the participants 6 times. From this, we can conclude a lot of people use the trains, however, other transport, such as driving or bus, may be used instead by some. Next, I asked participants to select if all of these factors influence you when taking the train, giving them the opportunity to choose multiple. 34% are influenced by costs, 25% delays in travel advice, 21% sustainable choices, and 20% speed and convenience. The most common answer being cost, answered by 15 of the 18 participants. Next, I asked if participants had experienced a train journey that had significantly disrupted their journey to find out how far delays have impacted travellers. 39% answered that they had experienced no inconvenience, 33% had experienced minor inconvenience, and 28% had experienced major inconvenience. To follow up and find reasoning for these answers, I asked participants to give examples. Some examples of major delays given were Great Western Railway cancelling all my journeys home, so I had to get a bus, which took longer, stuck in London for hours waiting for a train home, and being late to work because of trains. These results show that train delays have a significant impact on the train's reputation, as well as organisational damage for people not wanting to use the service as much or at all anymore. Next, I asked participants to rank these 5 travel options in terms of how likely they are to use them going away to an event. The results show that bus is the most common, with 77% either having it as a first or second choice. Train travel ranked in third, with 50% either having it as a first or second choice. And driving was the most common first choice, coming in at 44%. Next, I asked participants if train travel had been provided later than normal when attending an event. 72% answered yes, while 28% answered no. This is a big strength in using train travel for events, making it a solid option. Next, I asked participants to choose multiple choices on what aspects turn them off train travel. The most selected option is delays causing and disrupting journeys, where 50% of participants put this as their first choice and 16% their second. The second most prominent aspect was price, which was answered as a first or second choice by 78% respondents. Next, I asked participants to rate on an NPS how likely they are to recommend train travel. After calculating the numbers, 50% of all respondents were detractors who wouldn't recommend, 23% of all respondents were passive and wouldn't talk about train travel, 27% of all respondents were promoters who would recommend train travel. The average NPS score was 6. This shows that train travel, in the face of most, has a bad reputation and would only be promoted by 1 out of 4 people, showing rail travel requires improvement. The final question I asked was for people to give me an example of improvements for train travel that could encourage them to use the service. The most common answers were less strikes, delays, and cancellations, running more frequently, providing more comfortable travel, as well as cheaper prices and more offers. In conclusion, from conducting this research, train travel is a successful service and provides versatile options getting to events. However, the key aspects I have listed would benefit train companies to look into improve for further use of the service. This research project had a variety of strengths and weaknesses which are important to analyse in the conducting of future research. Looking at strengths of this project, in this research, versatile questions were asked, varying from multi-choice questions, simple closed answer questions, NPS scores, and rankings. This helped provide a variety of data leading to reliable insight and conclusions. My research questions also reached a broad audience. This allowed me to reach a large range of demographics. Asking my friends and family allowed me to gain opinions from an older generation, as well as from people my age, which led to a wide range of answers. My research is cost effective and easy to carry out. Surveys are free to make and easy ways to collect research. This allowed me to gather a large number of responses over Christmas period, as opposed to research that is paid, such as focus groups. On the other hand, looking at weaknesses, in this research, the key challenge that I faced was the time limitation. Studying in university and working in hospitality, it was a challenge to be able to find the time to carry out the research. This led me to not be able to use a wide range of research methods and I had to stick to surveys. Due to time constraints in this survey, it was hard to gain a large number of responses. Being able to gain responses from a larger demographic is beneficial. However, it would have been better to get the survey out to a wide range of locations, as how trains work in different locations may have provided more insightful answers. One final big weakness of this research I carried out was that my questions may not capture context behind the respondents' answers. A lot of my research questions were closed answers or multi-choice, which does not allow for elaboration. Looking at productivity and efficiency, overall the methods I used were useful in helping me reach my goal in researching the effectiveness of train travel. The simple approach I chose was very quick to carry out and provided better results. It was also a quick process for the respondents, allowing me for more accurate results. However, my method can also have negative effects on the productivity. Being quick to carry out, it can also cause the respondents to rush and not take the survey as seriously. This means inaccurate results in productivity for the research. Looking at my personal reflections, throughout this case study, I've learnt a variety of transferable skills. I managed to gain an in depth understanding into train travel. This knowledge can be applied into my academic studies and future research, as well as enhance my time management and critical thinking. If I had the opportunity to carry out this research for a second time, I'll give myself more time to do this project. This would allow me to be able to gain more responses and be able to carry out more methods of research and provide diverse results. The biggest challenge I faced during this research was managing and finding the time to do it over Christmas. This affected the survey and went out a lot later. Therefore, going forward doing this again, I would try it during term time for better results. So, my final analysis. Overall, my research aligns well with research best practice. To avoid research misconduct, important factors is having continuous learning and adhering to ethical standards. Conducting my research, I carried out all of my research for anonymous answers, which was done well. However, to stay up to date in the field and gain better results, I could have engaged in reviewing more academic sources. Overall, the methods I used in this study were appropriate and successful to some degree. The methods I used were successful but limited. My project would have benefited from more academic research before putting out the survey for alternate methods to run alongside my research, such as interviews and data sampling. Overall, academic research would have improved the validity of my results, encouraged diverse methods, and provided insight into existing research to give me more context for my answers. Thank you for watching my presentation.